Back at the beginning of 2019, I had been speaking with a director that I know and that I've worked with a few times, and he was really encouraging me, if I want to create something new, to think about what resources I have available to me and write something within those means, which is great advice, and I've heard lots of people share that all the time, but it really stuck with me that time, and I began just thinking about what do I really have available to me, what could I create with a very limited budget, with the resources that I have available. Around that same time, a couple of families that I know had invited me to come watch a stage performance that a couple of their kids were in. And as I was sitting there watching it, their two kids had the lead roles in this play, and I realized one of the resources I have available to me are some kids that are really great, talented actors. And along those same lines, I also realized that I have this kind of an open door connection to a platform, a television network that is designed for mostly like kids and teen programming. And if I could create something, I have these kid actors, and I could create something and get it into that platform. And so as I began thinking about that, a few months later, I just this idea hit me of what if these teenagers had to go an entire year without the internet. That would be a crazy thing that would create some huge conflict and make for a really interesting story or series or movie or whatever. And so I began developing No Internet based on all of those inspirations kind of coming together and figuring out what resources do I have available to me and what can we do within these means to make this happen. There were certainly some huge challenges and struggles that we had to overcome in order to create No Internet. The largest challenge of all was the fact that we were planning on filming the last weekend of March and the first weekend of April in 2020. You know exactly what that means. It means that 2 weeks prior to our first day of shooting, everything in Vancouver shut down because of COVID-19. And so as our entire industry shut down, as everything came to a close, we had to bring our production to a halt, and I wasn't really sure what was going to happen next. We kept pushing it off, delaying it by a couple weeks at a time, then a month, and then a couple months. Even if we had wanted to film all of our equipment, which was owned by a couple of our crew that were helping out, but they worked on Warner Brothers shows, and their equipment was sitting on trucks on Warner Brothers studio lots, and the studio wouldn't allow us in to get the trucks, even though it's theirs, but because everything was shut down, we couldn't get access to our equipment. And so we had so many hurdles to overcome, all because of this pandemic, that created a whole lot of challenges. But I think at the same time, it created some really cool opportunities for us to really prepare more, to be extra prepared, to spend a lot more time getting things ready, and it gave some opportunity to really kind of pick through the story pieces. And so we were finally able to film at the beginning of June in 2020, but the Actors Union kind of reneged on us at that point and wasn't willing to let us move forward. And so we had to actually film part of our film in June and then wait until mid-July when the Actors Union would play ball with us to film the rest of the film. And so because we had that extra gap of like 6 weeks between filming half and the other half, it opened up the opportunity for me to really think through some of the story points after filming some pieces. And actually we ended up adding a few scenes and changing a few things before we went back and filmed in July. And so these huge struggles that added a whole lot of expense and craziness on top of everything really opened up the door for some cool opportunities. Because of that, we also had a number of really experienced professionals who were just sitting around at home and bored. They hadn't worked in 4 months and they just had nothing else to do, and so because of that they were willing to come out and give their time for free to help out with this project. And so it was really cool to see how Vancouver's film industry kind of came together to support this project and to make it happen, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think my biggest goal with No Internet is I've designed this to be a series, and I really love to see that happen. This film, No Internet short film, was actually meant to be more of a proof of concept to show what a series could be like. Of course, my pilot episode would be a little bit different than this, but I wanted to give kind of give everyone a bit of a sense of what a show could be like, and I would love to see this become a series on, whether it's a streaming platform or a television network, whatever that may be. I'm open to all sorts of ideas and options, but I'd love to see this become a series where we can really get to know these characters and develop this story and find out what the motivation is with these villains, and just really see how these characters overcome, having no internet for a year.